Okay, this is Lab 7 in mobile and network forensics. I'm just trying to give you I lost the other recording, so this is kind of a quick recording of what it does. Okay. What I want you to try to do is figure out what this router configuration does. Okay. I realize we haven't covered a lot about routers in this course, but you did cover somewhat of routing in your networks class and also some in your network security class. It's not that hard to figure out. So like I said, review the configurations, comment them, tell me what you think is happening, and make any recommendations to make it better or more secure. Okay. The compromise did occur with the configuration below. So look at it and see if you can think of possibly what might have happened. Here's an example. Okay. So this tells me IP, NAT, source, static, and all this stuff. What the heck does that mean? First of all, this is our external address on port 80. This is our internal address. Okay, so what this is doing is this is providing a NAT, a network address translation, from one address to another. Okay. Now, like I said, it's being translated to internal address on port 80. This appears to be a web server. How do I know it's a web server? Well, first of all, it's on port 80. Now, is this line needed? Should it be closed? Does it actually reply to traffic? Is it, is it really HTTP traffic? So what I want you to look at the lines below and tell me, hey, what are these things doing? Could they be written a different way? And I will tell you there are some things that could be done better. And here's another NAT line here, okay? You do not need to comment every line. I did put some remark lines, and I would like them, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to get down here to this bottom part first. Okay. Now, looking at this ACL, ACL stands for Access Control List. You'll see I put this line right here. This is a remark line. There's also a remark line here. Okay. So I added this. This is a remark line. This is the ACL inbound traffic. Access control is for inbound. I even tell it what port to apply. That way I know how to configure this thing. So I added this next remark line, and I did that because what does this line right here do? Okay. So what you should be able to do is figure out what that line does and put it on this line right here. Right here. So this remark line should have some verbiage here. Tell me what this line does. This remark line here should have some verbiage. Tell me what this next section does. This line here should have some verbiage. Tell me what this next section does. Same with this. This line should have some verbiage. Tell me what this one does. And let's look at this one for an example. Okay. This is Access Control List 101, which that's one we're working with. Permit UDP. Okay. Let's talk about that first. So we're permitting traffic. TCP, UDP. Well, in this case, we're permitting UDP traffic. Then it says any. And the way this stuff works is you have any. Like this case, it's any, and there's the other any. So that means from anywhere to anywhere. This next one says from anywhere to this specific host. From anywhere to this specific host, so on and so forth. So in this case, from anywhere to anywhere. So that means anybody in the world can talk to anybody else. Now this EQ domain, EQ means equals. So permit UDP traffic coming from anywhere that equals domain. Well, what the heck is domain? I'm just going to take this section here, and you're not going to be able to see this because it's on a different window. Maybe I can somehow make it work. No guarantees. I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not, but I'm going to put that in there. So I just real quickly typed it in here. I don't know if you can see this, but basically it's telling me what's the difference between 53 and domain. There really is no real big difference. Okay, domain is 53. And what the heck is 53? Well, 53 is domain, or DNS in other words. Okay, so this is saying permit UDP traffic from anywhere that equals domain or DNS or 53 going anywhere. So this remark will say permit UDP DNS traffic from anywhere, going anywhere on port 53. The next one, permit UDP traffic from anywhere to this specific host on port that equals NTP. Figure out what that is. Permit TCP from anywhere to this specific host. Now you'll notice this time it's a IP address and a subnet. So as we're not permitting it to one specific address, we're permitting it to a range of addresses. So permit TCP traffic from anywhere to this range of addresses where the port equals 902. Okay, do that for all this stuff. Okay, some of them, like this permit line here pertains to these. You can make one remark for two. Same, this one remark can be for these 3 lines. You don't have to do every single line. This one remark can pretty much cover all these, and there should be some way to figure out. I mean, if you need to add a few, that's fine. Just I don't want to remark on every single line. So do that for all this stuff. Figure out what's going on, and now we go back to the top. The top is the NAT. Okay, that's kind of the sample I gave above. Okay, now what this is saying is this external address has a static NAT mapping to this internal address. So this external goes to this internal. This external goes to this internal. So if you were to connect to this address right here on port 80, it gets sent to this address on port 80. Easy enough. You connect to this address on port 131, it gets sent to this address on port 80. Okay, so this is a NAT translation table. So again, this address on port 210 sends the traffic to this internal address on port 80. Okay, I will tell you what this section used to be. We're no longer using this, but this section used to be for our video camera system. And what these numbers here were, these were the different room numbers. That was 131, room 201, room 203, room 210, room 211, and so on and so forth. We had cameras in all these rooms. And what they did is they connected to internal addresses. So externally, we could connect to this address on this port, and you would connect internally to this address on port 80, which is where the camera was configured at. So tell me what this stuff does. See if there's any vulnerabilities, and just like it says at the top here, comment me, tell me what you think is happening, and make any recommendations to make it better or more secure. If you don't think we should have any web traffic allowed, then forget, we don't want any of these port 80s. But you got to remember, we are running a web server here, and the reason we know we're running a web server is because it's telling us we're running one on some of these right here. This one connects on port www, which is the web server. All these are connecting on www. So don't tell me we're going to get rid of our web server when obviously we're using it for something. Okay. All right. So you're really going to mark up this paper, tell me what you think it's doing, make any recommendations, and that's all you got to do. All right. Thank you.